There are moments in life when a person looks around and realizes something startling. There is no one standing beside them, no friends to call, no one checking on them, no one genuinely invested in their heart. And the world may say, something must be wrong with you. But I want to show you something deeper, something spiritual, something powerful, something shocking. Many people who walk through seasons of isolation are not broken. They are chosen. Many who have zero friends are not cursed. They are set apart. Many who feel alone are not forgotten. They are being protected. There is a reason some people walk through life with very few, and sometimes no, true friends. Their spirits are wired differently. Their hearts carry burdens others can't understand. Their minds operate on levels most people around them are not ready for. They are not ordinary people seeking ordinary companionship. They are people with destiny on their shoulders, purpose in their bones, and a calling they may not fully understand yet. Some people have zero friends because their spirit refuses to settle for shallow people. They cannot pretend, they cannot fake loyalty, they cannot water down who they are just to be accepted. When someone is too authentic, too honest, too spiritually aware, it intimidates people who prefer comfort over truth. These individuals carry a level of depth that many cannot match. And because they refuse to be someone else to fit in, they are often left standing alone. But it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Some have no friends because God is protecting them from spirits disguised as friends. Not everyone who smiles at you wants to see you grow. Not everyone who praises you claps for you in private. Not everyone who stands beside you would stand for you if life turned dark. Some friendships would have been the very rope that strangled your future. Some people would have drained your energy, fed on your generosity, manipulated your kindness, and destroyed your confidence. So God removed them before they had access to sabotage your destiny. That isolation wasn't punishment, it was protection. Some people have zero friends because the season they're in demands it. When God starts shaping a person, He often cuts away every distraction. When God is building a new identity within someone, He removes the noise, the opinions, the unnecessary voices. He isolates them not to break them, but to strengthen them. Some of the greatest transformations happen in silence. Some of the greatest revelations come when no one is around to dilute them. People who have zero friends aren't always lacking connection. They are simply in the middle of a spiritual construction zone. God is rebuilding them, repairing them, and preparing them for something far bigger than anything they've ever known. And there are some who have no friends because their heart was betrayed one too many times. Loyalty means everything to them. Trust is sacred. Once they have been wounded deeply, their spirit becomes slow to trust, slow to attach, slow to open up. They are not cold, they are careful. They are not bitter, they are healing. They are not unfriendly, they simply refuse to hand out access to people who haven't earned it. Their isolation is not rejection, it is the boundary that protects their peace after surviving emotional storms others will never understand. But here's the shocking truth. Some people have zero friends because God is preparing to send the right ones at the right time. He is clearing space. He is removing counterfeit connections so true ones can walk in. He is allowing a season of dryness so that when real relationships arrive, loyal, aligned, purpose-filled, you will recognize them. You won't cling to toxic people ever again. You won't entertain half-hearted relationships. You won't settle for empty companionship. You will finally understand why God kept you separated, because your future circle is different from your past one. Yet, the greatest truth of all is that some people have zero friends because their assignment demands solitude. Some people are leaders, some are healers, some are carriers of wisdom, some are pioneers, and pioneers rarely walk crowded roads. Leaders rarely blend in. Elevation always comes with separation. There is no greatness without distance, no purpose without pruning, no destiny without discomfort. So if you are someone who has felt alone, overlooked, friendless, don't let society convince you that something is wrong with you. Many don't have the capacity to understand your depth. Many cannot match your loyalty. Many cannot handle your calling. You are not unwanted. You are uncommon. You are not unworthy. You are being prepared. You are not lonely. You are in transition. And when the season shifts, and it will, when God sends the right people who speak your language, support your vision, honor your heart, and walk beside you with purity, you will look back and say, now I understand why I had to walk alone. God wasn't punishing me. He was positioning me. Your isolation is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a powerful, purposeful chapter. Stay patient, stay faithful, stay strong, because the people God sends next will shock you even more than the isolation ever did. There are people walking through life with no friends, not because they are unworthy of love, not because they are strange, and not because they are antisocial. Many of them stand alone because life has wounded them in ways no one ever saw. They didn't choose isolation. Isolation became their shield. When someone has gone through enough betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak, the soul reacts in silence. It begins to protect itself. It builds invisible walls. It avoids unnecessary conversations. The person begins to feel safer alone than surrounded by people who might hurt them again. Some people you see standing by themselves aren't lonely. They are recovering. They are rebuilding. They are learning how to breathe without depending on the wrong people. They've learned that the same mouth that calls you friend today can tear you apart tomorrow. The same person who promises loyalty can suddenly vanish when you need them most. So instead of allowing their heart to be shattered again, they retreat. They guard their peace like a treasure, not because they hate people, but because they've learned the cost of trusting the wrong ones. And this is where the misunderstanding begins. People assume that someone with no friends must have a problem. They don't realize that silence is often a scar. Independence is often a defense mechanism. Emotional distance is sometimes the result of a battle no one else saw. Sometimes people walk alone, not because they don't want connection, but because they once gave their heart to those who mishandled it. There are individuals whose childhood shaped their loneliness. Maybe they were never accepted. Maybe they grew up in a home where love was conditional. Maybe they learned early on that opening up only led to pain, and the brain remembers, the heart remembers, the nervous system remembers. So as adults, they move carefully, selectively, cautiously. To others, they look reserved. In reality, they are simply trying not to repeat a painful past. Some were betrayed by their closest friends, the ones they trusted most, the ones they allowed into the deepest parts of their life. When betrayal comes from strangers, you recover quickly. But when it comes from someone you loved, someone you confided in, someone you believed would never hurt you, it changes everything. It makes you question your judgment. It makes you feel foolish for trusting. It makes you withdraw. And slowly, without realizing it, a person begins to believe that life is safer when lived behind emotional walls. They begin to think, if no one gets close, no one can hurt me. But what they don't realize is this: the same walls that keep pain away also keep love away. The same walls that protect the heart also imprison it. The same defenses that safeguard your peace can rob you of connection, community, and companionship. Some people ended up with no friends because the season they are in demands separation. There are moments in life when God allows isolation, not to punish you, but to preserve you, not to break you, but to strengthen you, not to leave you lonely, but to grow you alone. In these seasons, He removes the noise so you can hear your thoughts, He distances you from people who drain you so you can discover your worth. He allows people to walk away so you can learn that your value was never in them. Sometimes you don't lose people, you are rescued from them. But emotional wounds don't just affect friendships, they affect self-worth. Many people with no friends do not believe they are worthy of good relationships. Somewhere along the line, someone convinced them they were hard to love. Someone made them feel like a burden. Someone criticized their personality, their emotions, or their needs so many times that they eventually silenced themselves. They began to shrink. They began to fade. They began to convince themselves that life is better when they don't expect anything from anyone. Some people even sabotage good friendships because they're so used to chaos that healthy relationships feel foreign. Stability feels suspicious. Kindness feels temporary. Support feels too good to be true. When someone has been wounded for too long, even love feels dangerous. And yet, beneath all this, there is a heart that still hopes. A heart that still wants connection, a heart that still dreams of meaningful friendships. The problem is not desire, it is fear. The problem is not their personality, it is their pain. That's why it's shocking. The person you think doesn't like people may actually be the person who once loved the deepest. The one who never talks may be the one who was silenced by trauma. The one who keeps to themselves may be protecting a heart that has been broken too many times. Behind closed doors, some cry for companionship, but don't know how to let anyone close enough to give it to them. They crave connection, but fear rejection. They want friends, but fear betrayal. They want to love, but fear the ache of another disappointment. So, they walk alone. Not because they are meant to be alone forever, but because they are healing. And healing often looks like loneliness. But the truth is this: when the wounds heal, when the heart softens again, and when trust is rebuilt, they won't walk alone anymore. They will attract the right people, the ones who understand, the ones who stay, the ones who value them. Many people walk through life wondering why friendships seem to slip through their fingers, why connections fail to last, or why others seem to drift away no matter how hard they try. But one shocking truth is this: some people have zero friends because they unknowingly carry patterns, habits, and emotional behaviors that push others away. And the saddest part is that most of the time, they don't even know they're doing it. They think they're being protective, but they're actually building walls. They think they're being strong, but they're shutting down their own support system. They think they're being misunderstood, but they never stop to examine whether their own reactions create distance. When someone has been hurt again and again, it's easy to become defensive. They begin taking every comment personally, reading every silence as rejection, and assuming the worst before the worst even happens. Over time, this creates an atmosphere of tension around them. People feel like they must walk on eggshells. Every small misunderstanding turns into a big emotional explosion. And while the hurting person believes they're simply protecting themselves, the people around them quietly step back, not out of hate, but out of exhaustion. Another reason people end up with zero friends is the inability to celebrate others. When jealousy, insecurity, or comparison take root, it poisons relationships. No one wants to be around someone who becomes cold when others succeed, someone who always needs to win, someone who turns every blessing into a competition. Friendship requires cheering for each other, not competing with each other. But when a person carries hidden resentment or constant comparison, others feel it, even when it's unspoken. A smile that isn't genuine, a compliment that sounds forced, a conversation that subtly shifts back to their own achievements. People can sense the difference between sincerity and silent rivalry, and when they feel that sting, they naturally step back. Some people lose potential friends because of judgmental behavior. When someone always criticizes, always corrects, always points out flaws, it slowly suffocates the relationship. They believe they're helping, or being honest, or being real. But what others feel is constant disapproval. Instead of comfort, people feel pressure. Instead of warmth, they feel scrutiny. Instead of acceptance, they feel like they're never enough. Humans are drawn to people who make them feel safe and valued, not those who constantly highlight their shortcomings. So little by little, people who crave peace drift away from those who carry a critical spirit. There are also those who push people away because they cannot communicate their feelings openly. When anger replaces honesty, when silence replaces vulnerability, when withdrawal replaces explanation, others feel lost. They don't know what the person is thinking. They don't know if they offended them. They don't know if the relationship is stable. People are not mind readers, and relationships cannot survive on assumptions. When someone lacks emotional expression, misunderstandings grow like weeds until the bond is choked out entirely. Some end up with zero friends because they never initiate. They wait for others to call. They wait for others to check in. They wait for others to make plans. And over time, people assume they aren't interested, not because they don't care, but because their silence is misinterpreted as distance or indifference. Friendships require effort from both sides, not one. When someone continuously expects others to do the work, eventually the relationship collapses from imbalance. Others lose friends because they are comfortable only when they are needed. They confuse being useful with being loved. They build friendships on favors, assistance, or problem solving. But when the season changes and they're no longer needed, they feel abandoned, when in truth, the relationship was built on service, not connection. People want to be valued, not used. And when someone attaches their worth to being needed, they unknowingly create one-sided friendships that cannot survive long term. Then there are those who struggle with trust. Perhaps their past is filled with betrayal. They carry wounds that never healed. They expect people to hurt them, so they preemptively sabotage relationships before anyone gets close. They pull away when someone tries to care. They shut down when someone tries to open up to them. They hide their heart behind humor, sarcasm, or distance. And while they believe they're protecting themselves from heartbreak, the truth is they're protecting themselves from love. Another reason people have zero friends is that they don't know how to apologize. They hold on to pride even when they know they hurt someone. They justify their actions instead of owning them. But every relationship requires humility. Every bond requires repair at some point. When someone refuses to take responsibility, the other person eventually decides their peace is more important than staying in a lopsided relationship. There are also people who unintentionally drain others emotionally. They unload their problems constantly, but they never listen in return. They seek comfort, but never offer it. They want support, but don't give support. Over time, interactions with them feel heavy, not because they're unworthy of love, but because the relationship becomes exhausting. People crave balance, give and take, not take and take. In all these cases, the common factor is not fate, not the world, not other people. It's patterns, unhealed wounds, and behaviors that create invisible barriers. And until someone becomes aware of these patterns, they will unknowingly repeat them, losing connection after connection, wondering why loneliness keeps coming back like a shadow they cannot escape. There are seasons in life when the silence around you feels heavier than the loudest crowd. Moments when you look around and realize the room is empty, the phone is quiet, the friendships you used to depend on have dissolved, and the people you thought would walk with you have disappeared. It feels unfair, confusing, even painful. But what if I told you this? Your separation is not a sign of abandonment. It's a divine strategy. When God separates you, it is never to isolate you. It is to elevate you. It is His way of pulling you aside, not because you are weak, but because you are chosen for something that requires a different level of development. Many people misunderstand spiritual separation. They think loneliness is a curse. They think solitude is punishment. But when God is preparing a chosen person, He does not train them in crowded rooms. He trains them in the quiet, in the unseen, in the places where distractions cannot enter and familiar voices cannot influence the process. When God wants to give you a calling, He first removes everything that could dilute your identity or distort your assignment. You are not being set aside. You are being set apart. Elevation requires separation because destinies are fragile in the development stage. Some people around you were not equipped to handle the magnitude of your calling. They loved you on the level they met you, but could not love you on the level God is taking you. They were comfortable with the old version of you, but would have resisted the new one. So God removed them, not to break your heart, but to protect your purpose. You may think their absence wounded you, but their presence would have ruined you. Think about every major figure with a divine purpose. Before elevation came isolation. Before the breakthrough came a season where their circle got smaller, not larger, because chosen people are forged in silence, not applause. God hides His most powerful servants before He reveals them. He covers them like seeds underground, unseen, unheard, unnoticed, but growing in a dimension that no one else can witness. A seed in the soil looks buried, but it is actually being planted. The difference is perspective. You think you are buried because no one sees you. Heaven knows you are planted because God has plans to grow you. That season where your phone stopped ringing, where people stopped checking on you, where friendships dissolved, God wasn't subtracting, He was protecting. He wasn't removing people from your life. He was removing weight from your wings. You cannot fly with an overcrowded life. Elevation requires lightness. And so God begins trimming, cutting, separating, so that when the time comes, nothing holds you down at the moment you are meant to arise. There are moments when God isolates you, not to teach you loneliness, but to teach you strength. He wants you to know His voice without interference, His presence without distraction, His direction without confusion. In noise you can hear people, in silence you can hear God. And perhaps the reason God separated you is because you became too dependent on others to validate what He already affirmed. Some people were silenced so you could finally hear the one who has always been speaking. The separation also prepares you for environments your old circle could not enter. Had they stayed, their mindset would have clashed with your calling. Their insecurities would have suffocated your potential. Your growth would have threatened them. God knew that, so He took you out of the atmosphere that would have killed your elevation. Instead of mourning who left, begin thanking God for what was saved. Every absence was protection. Every closed door was direction. Every separation was preparation. Chosen people learn to walk alone before they walk in power. They learn to trust God in silence before they speak with authority. They learn to stand without support before they are trusted with influence. What you call loneliness, heaven calls training. What you call abandonment, heaven calls alignment. What you call loss, heaven calls positioning. Your separation is the signature of a chosen life. If God has pulled you away from familiar places, it means He is positioning you for unfamiliar blessings. The silence around you is the sound of God getting ready to introduce you to a chapter that will require a stronger, wiser, more focused version of you. God is not punishing you. He is preparing you. He is not pushing you away from people. He is pulling you closer to purpose. So embrace the separation. Don't fight it. Don't fear it. Don't try to reconnect with what God disconnected. Trust that the one who is ordering your steps knows exactly where he is taking you. When God separates you, it is only because elevation is near. You are not alone. You are being positioned. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. You are not left behind. You are being lifted. This is the journey of the chosen, and you are chosen.